Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Tom Mizzou, watching my channel Mizzou14, and I'm here doing a review of Family or Fiance, the episode of Summer and Keith. This was another family that I felt good at the end that they were gonna get married because out of the whole episode season, I think only two actually got married. And this was the second couple, Summer and Keith. The last one, the other one was Falasha and Chris. And I felt good. It was a little minor issues that need to be brought up, and I explained to that. But it wasn't too much that I said like, damn, they can't get married. It's not something that you can't fix. It was something that they was going through that could be fixed with a little communication, a little bit opening it up, and a little bit understanding another family. And not quick to judge. All right, so Summer and Keith been married, been together for 3 years. They getting married in 8 days. So they just want to bring their family together to get their blessings, so they can have this wedding and all that stuff like that. It would be no issues and stuff like that, and just get their blessings, and to know that their family is supporting them in their decision. Keith is actually an older guy. I think she mentioned that he was 50 years old, but it didn't mention how old she is. But all I know that he is older than her. And sometimes when you have an older guy with a younger woman, sometimes that age difference does play a factor. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they really do love each other, and they have a really people who older and young don't love each other, and they have a great union. But sometimes it doesn't work out because you have one person, the person older will have more set in their ways, and they more value and more structure in whatever they want, and they all settle and they know what they want, and they don't go with that bull crap. With somebody who's younger, who's trying to still experience life and don't have that settled mindset yet. So sometimes that age difference does play a role in people's relationships. Sometimes they may have kids or they may not have kids and stuff like that, and they do want to have family. Whether a person younger will be able to step up and play the role as a wife and a mother, or the other way around as a husband and bride if they're younger than the person, the wife or the woman, so like that. But in this case, it's an older man and a younger woman, and you see that a lot. A lot of older men do marry younger women, and sometimes the age difference is something they different lifestyles of the time period and where they in, and the stages of life where they in does play the role in their benefits or demise in the relationship. Now, so they've been together for 3 years, and they're gonna get married in 8 days. So 3 of the days is basically with this episode trying to get the family together and understanding. So they had a little concerns about it. Like so it's 3 days formula again, and they met with Tracy, and someone expressed that her family is very wild. They very loud. They had no structure when they were growing up, so it was no curfews. There's a party. The free spirit type of family where you can just do what you want to do. There's no judgment zone. There's no discipline family. You can go out. You can have fun. You can drink. You can party. It's stuff like that. Keith, on the other hand, his family is more raised in a structure like church family household where his father was a preacher, so you know how that goes. Sometimes they have strict rules. You can't go out and party. Well, if you do, you have to be home at a certain time. You can't be drinking. You in the bed at a certain time. It's a structured lifestyle. So his upbringing with that, and the top of her wild factor, it's really two completely different lifestyles upbringing. So to match that together, sometimes it could work in their benefit, it could hurt in their benefit. It depends on the people who is involved in the situation. And sometimes opposites will attract. When you have somebody who's very reserved and structured, dealing with somebody who's very wild and unstructured, sometimes it could work out if the people is mature enough to understand each other and work out the difference and make a common denominator, common understanding with each other. So Summer family, she brought her mother Christina, her friend Tania, and her sister Brandy. And then Keith, he brought his mother Mary, his sister Kim, and his brother-in-law Brian. And Summer family expressed that Keith is too reserved. He's like too quiet. He said himself he's a really introvert. Introvert people have the tendency to keep things to themselves don't really express themselves as much. They will have opinion if you like push to ask them, but usually they don't say what they feel right out in the open. You really have to get into them, like really force the answer out of them, because they usually keep their stuff in and they bottle up, so like that a little bit. I can see myself a little bit as an introvert, but not too much. I'm a little bit, and I'm reserved for quiet. I like to keep to myself, but as the actual opinion, I will give my opinion, so it's no problem, so like that. But I'm not gonna go be out there like, oh yeah, being rude about it. So I'm a little bit like that, but not too much that I'm too introverted. I'm not that. I could be have fun and have the lifestyle, but I did grow up in a structure, I think, not too structured as Key family was, but structured enough when I had curfew and stuff like that, and going to bed at a certain time and stuff, and being disciplined and all that craziness. So it was different, the stuff. So the upgrading was that, and it made shape me the person I am. Just like some of the upbringing shaped her, and Keith upbringing shaped him. And it doesn't make one person upbringing better or superior than others, and the other, right? So they feel like he's too reserved, he's too quiet. They also feel that he's old, because she's playing that she don't say much, but she give energy, and I can see throughout the episode her energy was like off, like a little bit, like okay, this or that. If you say it they want to be, I would get offended, or something. I had to give. I'm a strong opinion and stuff. So she just say he old for Summer, and it's like okay, whether he old or not, Summer clearly loves this guy, and I can see the clearly shows in this episode they really do love each other, and they really do bring out the best and something different out of each other. It just needs to work out some of the kinks of their relationship. All right, and then I think Brandy realized, said, and she's settling, and she's really settling with Keith because he's an older man, and because she can have a younger man or a guy her age, but if she's settling with to be with him. All right, and then Keith family realizes that he said that their family is more considerate, they're more organized, but Keith family is more concerned about his emotional well being, because they did express that he did have a wife that passed away, and I think they said 4 years or something like that, but it was still like kind of fresh in his mind and stuff. So he was like, they just thinking that is he really, really fully over his ex-wife who passed, who died, because he's a widower. So she died, and you want to know if he really fully over her, and they just jumping too soon and being with Summer, just to fill the void, whatever that he's feeling, just to have someone in his life because he's that. But it is said that he's really caring when his wife is sick and everything. He was there, and that's how he was. That's how the type of person he is. So, and just want to know, the mom especially expressed that he's ready for the over, and then his brother-in-law want to know if she's the ride and die, and she could be there for him when he needs it, if he's sick or anything. Cause usually, sometimes, I'm not saying it's everything, but usually sometimes younger women get with older men. It's usually because it's money and they're secure, financial secureness of it, and it's not so much about the marriage itself. It's more of the financial security they get being with the older guy. They may love him, they may not. They probably will get a kid to secure their financial bag or something like that. So it's money. It's mainly money motivated than with others, and it's really rare you get somebody who's younger who really love a guy or who want to be there. So if Keith's an older guy and he gets sick, will someone be there for him? Will she be able to be the wife, be the loving woman to be at his side? Just like I think he will do, because it was explained that when his ex-wife was sick and went to the hospital or something like that, he was bringing flowers. He would make sure he was bringing people to sing to her, being there every day, every step of the way, being that loving husband to sickness and health, just like the vows that he made to his wife to be there until she died. So that's the type of man he is, and makes someone feel like, okay, I got a good man. And it seemed like he is a good man in his thing. I think his power was he was expressing himself, and he was too reserved, so people didn't know what he was feeling and how did he feel. And I think someone was taking that granted. It's like, all right, he not saying nothing, so he must be okay with it, even though maybe he not be okay with it. That's what sometimes it is, well, especially in a relationship, it is helpful to express your feelings, express yourself. Because if you don't say anything, they will take that as an agreement where they may be misunderstanding how you really truly feel and go along with it. And then when his power does raise up, when he does express himself, then they will say, "Oh, where this all this coming from?" And that's probably prevalent in this episode. All right, so Tracy always get him a task. So his task was to do 20 questions with someone's family. And her task was to cooking his favorite meal. And his favorite meal is fried chicken. So they're going to have a dinner or whatever and cook for the family. So when it came to those different tasks, the 20 questions, and the meal preparation, it was that. And then she expressed how he was with his first wife and everything. And they expressed how he was with his wife. So it made her feel grateful for that. And she didn't know exactly that much because I don't think he really talked about his ex-wife and his emotional feelings towards how he was with her. Now, it's his sense when he did the 20 questions, it was two. They asked when did his wife pass. His wife passed for Christmas. So they was like, wow. And that was touching. I was like, wow, that is something like a joyous moment. And he think that was funny that God took her away on Christmas Day. So every time Christmas comes around, it's always an emotional day for him because that's a remembrance of his wife passing. And it's so significant of that day of him to have that happen. So yes, he gonna feel a little kind of emotional in that time. So they saw over here that because they didn't know that. Now it was another question that asked, what do you really think about our family? Now he said if the function has a word, and then he brushed that off and went other words. So they was like, hold on, what do you mean by the functional arts like that? And then he tried to brush it off like he didn't try to say nothing, but he did say that he said it's a tight knit family, and then they just let somebody in. And I was like, okay, but he did say that the family was kind of dysfunctional, and then he'll bring that up later. And then he had a question for them. He was saying he brought up a aspect that he sent y'all on a trip to Italy. He sent Brandy and his summer mom Christina to a trip to Italy, and they did not even send a thank you to him. And she said, "Oh, I had your card," and all that stuff like that. She would make excuses, and she said, "I had your thank you card. It's at home," and so I was meant to give it to you. You didn't say thank you. So the problem wasn't that you got a call from him. The problem is that you didn't thank him for getting the trip. And that's the problem. It's like if you said somebody got kind of up the kindness of his heart to send you to a trip with something that y'all always wanted to experience, and he was nice enough to do that for her family. A simple thank you or card or something like that with special gratitude to him would be suffice. He didn't bring that up to throw in your face. He did that because he was hoping that y'all would be grateful enough to thank him for sending y'all to a trip. So I didn't think he was malicious about that. Now, because he was too reserved and he didn't say anything, it was never brought up. But now they feel like it was a more attack because he didn't say that or I guess thank you. So to me, it was the level-headed one. She would say no. It just say thank you. Just say thank you, man. Just say thank you. She said, no, not say thank you. Just say you apologize. You sorry, you sorry. She said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Keith. All that stuff. So that was the, it was brought up again. Now, they had the dinner and they sit down and I think Tania brought up the question of the functional and why you feel that we the functional. And he really explained about the different upbringing that I said earlier in this episode that yes, he was raised different and it's different like that. But they would say why you make us dysfunctional because we didn't raise how you was raised. So it kind of where the word dysfunctional was shouldn't be used. It was different, but how different? Is it different that your upbringing was better than them? Because in that sense, they kind of feel like they would be a judge of how she was brought up. And the mom got in her feelings. She said, "Oh no!" And she got up, she got crying and everything. And I was like, I understand that she may feel judged and offended, but I don't think it was enough. I don't know, maybe me. I don't think it was enough for me to get up and cry about it. Because if I know what I was doing to my kids and how I raised my kids, then I would not feel offended. I'm not going to feel offended at how I raised my kids. Now, she said she did it differently because her grandma, her mother was rude to her, like different to her, and she didn't want that lifestyle. She didn't want that upbringing how she was born. I think her upbringing was like very structured and very maybe harsh, strict, and she didn't want that for her kids. So she let her kids do what she got to want. It was no beatings. It was no curfews and stuff like that. But she loves her kids, and it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with that. How you raise your kids. It's the way how your kids take that experience and become good citizens in the country they in it. So so she felt kind of judged. In a way, it could be a judgmental in his part to her because you know sometimes preachers, family or church families, they do tend to judge other families who doesn't raise like them. So I understand somewhat that he may have been a judging in her because she said their family is different and they were dysfunctional. So if it wasn't raised as you, their family is dysfunctional. So it was like okay, I can see why she would probably offended, but I don't think it will be enough for me for her to get up and cry like that. I don't know. Maybe that's me. I wouldn't have been offended like that. I would say, listen, what I did was the best that I did with my kids, and I would not say it was the functional. It's the best if I can. Just because it wasn't raised how you was raised doesn't make my upbringing or some upbringing any less different or any below than what you bring it. And now it's not one way how you raise up a kid. As long as you don't, as long as it's not destructive, abusive lifestyle or household where you're abusing the kids, or you sexually abusing the kids, you physically abusing the kids, or something like that, emotionally abusing the kids, then how you raise them is on you as long as you just don't damage the child and put your child in harm's way. I would say that. So it was kind of like that. So it just bring that up, and then she got up. They got them on the back, and then he said, "Express yourself." So she said, "I didn't like that comment. The function it made me feel like you were judging a lot of stuff like that." But he explained that he didn't really mean it that way. He mean it was different from how they were. Now he did bring up the trip, and about that he said, I took your sister and mother to Italy. I paid for it. You didn't want them to go for a trip, and they go to Italy. They didn't go. And they wanted to experience it, and I took out my way and paid $12,000 or $10,000 to take them on a trip. And they didn't even say that thank you to me. They didn't even say no thank you card, nothing like that. He said, "Oh, what about this?" And like that. How will you make it? You making it seem like you bringing it in our face, you throwing it in our face. I said it's not that. And Tania got what he was saying, but they was like so offended. It's like that. I don't know why y'all got offended. What he saying was self-explanatory. He said that he took y'all on a trip. He didn't even send his own sisters and mom to the trip, Italy. They didn't go. His whole family didn't go. But he pleased your wife to send his fiance to send his fiance mother and sister to Italy, and y'all didn't even get a gratitude to say thank you to him. But y'all got offended because he bring that up and like that. So I said it's that. And then he brought up another thing about the Cabo, the weather destination. He said, "Why should we go to Cabo when everybody can afford it?" He kept the general, but he didn't specifically say her family. But she took it as he was saying his family, and he said, "I wanted to do Cabo because I wanted my family to experience it." She didn't say our family. She said my family. So it made it seem like it was all about her. And that case, I think some of family always thought about their feelings and never cared about Keith's feelings because they didn't know Keith because they didn't really get to know him because he was too quiet. And I think that's what the issue is like. Keith should have speak up more. And I think men in general need to do that. They need to start speaking their feelings and express themselves instead of bottling in and get explosive and get angry so you want to hit a chick or hit somebody because you can't express yourself. If you express yourself and say, "Listen, this not," and the woman's not hearing you, then that's not the woman you should be with. Vice versa. If a woman who don't speak up for themselves and they end up speaking up for themselves, it's time for the spouse to listen because now you need to listen. And then when they don't say that, don't take it as a guaranteed acceptance. They get more. They get more. Eventually, they will express how they feel, and maybe because he's expressing now, it came as an attack mode, or it came as a defensive in their part. He said, "Yo, where this came from? You never expressed this before." So, but I understand when he said he was like saying that why if we should have a destination wedding and everybody can afford to go to the destination wedding. Cabo's in Mexico, Cabo, Mexico, right? So why do we have that and people can't afford that to fly there? I want to say I'll be reasonable too. Why we can't stop the local or something that everybody can be able to get to? Instead of have a destination wedding. She said, you agreed that I want to do that because it's my family. You didn't say our family. So it was kind of selfishness on her part. So both played in the part of taking advantage of others and not really listening or hearing each other out. And so it was a check-in, and some of family, mom, some of mom feel like she was judged and everything, so she was upset. Wanted him to apologize, and she was like, "What was the thing that they were saying?" He said the upbringing, the function is different. He said, "How different was it? Justified should be a judge." And maybe after a while, she was explaining it. He said, "You know what? I should apologize." So maybe he didn't come out the way he wanted to come out to make it feel like she judged him. So he apologized. She accepted it, and it was a nice, genuine apology. She said she wasn't mad. She just was hurt and everything. So that, and then they gave him the exercise for him to turn up. They did a turn up, and it was nice. They had a good time. They was riding the bull. He was turning up. They had shown a different side of him. She said, "This is the real Keith." No, that is part of Keith. His real self is his still reserved kind of self. But yes, he could open up and have fun once in a while. But after a while, when they had kids and had children down the line, it's not always about a fun to turn up. It's a way to have that balance, and that's what they need to understand. Some of the family need to understand it's a balance. Yes, you can have fun, you can turn up and everything, but it's a way you can tone that down. And Keith was trying to explain that to them. It's like it's a way we can have fun and not always a party moment every time. So they was all cleaning, and it was a point of cleaning, and Keith family was cooking and cleaning for breakfast, but someone wasn't doing that, and she was staying on well family, and they didn't help with the cooking and cleaning, and I feel like that was kind of off, but it wasn't too much for get me upset, whatever. So when it came to the final check-in, they expressed that there's some tools to learn. She expressed that she know that Keith is patient, and she didn't realize he's a really introvert, and she just was taking advantage like he was accepting because he didn't say anything. But she needs to realize that it's not always okay. She needs to dig deeper and really have it listening. And when he really do say something, she needs to listen to what he's saying. And then he needs to be more open and honest with her and communicate, express himself when he feel, because he always turn it in and he don't say nothing. So now he needs to express himself. He needs to say something to get that. So that little minor kinks, if they work that out, they can have a really good, successful wedding and the marriage as well. When it came to the blessing, they all got all yeses. Uh, they got a different side. That some of the family realized Keith, realized he's a good thing. They realized he brings the best out of Summer. And you could tell they really look at each other and how they feel about each other. They really genuinely do love each other. So it was not something they could get broke up. It was nothing. I felt that in this episode they was like, you know what, they should not get married. I just think that if they was able to communicate, they would understand each other, listen to each other, and understand upbringing in the family, then they were good. So they got all yes, the family got together. They showed a preview that they did get married in Cabo, and there was no objections. So it was beautiful. It was nice. They looked like they would be good for each other, and I appreciate and I loved it. And it was a good episode. So please tell me how y'all feel. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you're new to my channel. Also next week is the update of where are they now. All the couples that they were showing this season is accident is an update. Where are they now? So I will see next week, and I'll probably do the review of that and guess how, if anything worked out at the end for any of them, or what happened to the relationship, especially the ones who decided not to get engaged or whatever, or stuff like that. So see y'all next week. Peace.